I'm delighted to be able to introduce the 10th edition of our Responsible Investment Report. I think that 10 years is always a significant number for anything, but for us this is really perhaps just the public evidence of the work we do on the topic of responsible investing, and really what's more important to me is it's just fundamentally part of our DNA, and we encapsulate all of that in the principle by which we run the business, which is business in balance. So what does business in balance really mean? Well, first of all, we're in business, but our clients do expect us to carry out our business in a responsible way. And we focus on three main areas, the first of which is to reduce the environmental impact of our own operations. Secondly, we look at the portfolio and the assets and try and reduce the energy consumption, and that's through a number of small steps and then big steps where we can in terms of development and redevelopment. And thirdly, in the area of our charitable work, and in particular the Redevco Foundation, which we're extremely proud of, and just last year alone we supported over 80 individual charities. So how do I really characterise last year? I think it was a year in which we all learnt to live with a bit more uncertainty, whether that is geopolitical changes, terrorism, or cyber attacks. I think we all learnt just to live with a little bit more uncertainty. And yet, the contradiction is at the same time, the stock market continued to go up and the price of high quality assets, whether it's real estate or other assets, continued to go up. What does that mean for us? I think as a specialist, we continue to find value, we continue to find good assets to acquire, we manage them well, we find the right locations, and I think that's where a specialist like Redevco really comes into its own. In terms of what are we doing to future-proof the portfolio, perhaps three things to highlight. We've just signed our third joint venture with PGGM, and with them we have committed to make that portfolio carbon neutral by 2030. In addition, one of our largest portfolios that we currently manage, we have committed there to have 50% of the assets very good or better by 2022. And then in terms of individual projects, we are redeveloping a site in Ternat in Belgium called The Leaf, and there we will get a BREEAM Excellent rating, and we're looking really right across the spectrum there, from the recycling of the demolition materials through to the ecology and the energy management, and then the choice of new materials where we are applying a cradle-to-cradle principle. So how do we know we're doing the right things? Well, first of all, corporate responsibility is very much in the DNA of the company. It's also in line with our shareholders' wish to be a force for good. But just to be really sure, we also do a stakeholder materiality survey to make sure that we are focusing on the right topics. So the big question is, are we doing enough? And I think in this area you can just never really do enough, but I do believe we're on track. We are making a lot of steps, we're making much more ambitious targets. We want to be able to contribute to both the Paris Agreement and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I would really just like to thank you, the employees, our stakeholders, who are helping us and coming with us on this journey.